Right now, we've got Don Pannell with some riveting radio real estate as we say good morning on the first day of summer. Morning, Don.
Good morning.
Having to do your own
Get
work
my
here
microphone
this
adjusted. Yeah, I feel like I'm on the radio or something.
Sure. We are talking about a new listing, and if you're going to check this out on the stream when we post it later today, you'll be able to see some photos of this. What do we have? What are we looking like here?
It's been on for a little while now. But it was on, and then it had an offer on it right away. But unfortunately, the offer fell through, so it is back on the market, and it is just a cute little place. It's up in Springfield Court, which is up kind of off of Brockdale as you're heading just past the high school there. That's that development that's kind of off to the right there. 4 bedrooms, which is really unusual these days. So 4 bedrooms, 1 3/4 bathrooms, and it has a big double-car garage that's been all insulated, and so that could be extra living space. It is about 1,200 square feet, a little over 1,200, built in 2002, very well maintained. It has brand new carpeting all the way through it and new paint inside. It's got a little shed in the back and a nice, good sized lot, and then it also backs up onto kind of a greenbelt area, which makes it seem even bigger than it is. It's on a really nice little cul-de-sac area. So cute little place. Again, 4 bedrooms, which is really nice, and then a big open kind of great room concept with the living room and the dining room and then the open kitchen, and then a nice big pantry off to the side and a breakfast bar, and really nice. And the bedrooms are all, for 1,200 square feet with 4 bedrooms, you would think that the bedrooms would seem small, but they don't. They're really nice size.
Cool.
So check it out. It's got a really cool front porch. You could put some rockers out there, and really nice landscaping around, and so great little place. I'd love to, if you'd like to see it, I could show it to you or contact your agent, and you do need to make an appointment to show this one because the sellers are nighttime workers, so they sleep during the day, so you have to really make sure that you've made arrangements to go see it. But
don't go banging on the door.
Don't be banging on the door at 8 o'clock in the morning. No, they might not be too happy about that.
What's more in demand in this area? More bedrooms, fewer bedrooms? Is it a detriment to have more bedrooms? Like if you have a 4 or 5 bedroom house, are they harder to sell? Are you aiming like at a big family or someone who just needs office space or more room?
It just depends. Yeah, I mean, I always figure more bedrooms is a plus. Yeah. Just because so many homes are 3 bedrooms, 2 baths. That's pretty standard.
Sure.
But so to have something extra is always a plus, I think. So this is and like I say, super clean, super ready to go. So it's really would be a good thing to go see if you're at all in the market for that. So,
cool.
Yeah, and take a look at the pictures and see what you think.
For sure. What else is going on there in the world?
This kind of ties in with what I thought I would start talking about, and we can take as many weeks as we need to get through this. I found a really good article that is entitled "The Top 10 Reasons to Hire a Real Estate Agent."
Oh, nice.
So,
perfect.
This and it ties in with this listing because one of the great things about this listing is its location. It's with walking distance to the high school and the junior high, and then once the YMCA gets built, it'll be right there on the opposite corner, pretty much.
Yeah.
So. A local agent would know those kinds of things, that this is what's in the works, and if you're into being close to what's going on in the community,
finger on the pulse. A
local agent would know those things. So this article starts out with, I thought I would just read this paragraph because I thought it was really well written. It says, with so much information readily available online, clients sometimes ask, why should we hire a real estate agent? And that's a really good question.
Okay.
Yeah. They wonder, and rightfully so, if they couldn't buy or sell a home through the internet or regular marketing with advertising channels without representation, without a real estate agent. So good questions to ask. You kind of think, well, shoot, I can just do this all online. And some do fine. on their own, but many don't. And then there's here. So then what follows is 10 reasons why you might want to consider hiring a professional.
Sure.
So the first one is education and experience, and that ties into knowing what's going on in the community.
This is kind of one of these why you don't want to represent yourself in a
court
of law.
right, exactly, because you have a fool for a client.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah, right. Yeah. So many people don't know that in order to get a real estate license is a pretty much of you have to get like 120 hours worth of education. You have to do this full course, and you have to pass a pretty strenuous test. I mean, it was. I'm used to taking tests, and I went to college, and I knew kind of how to take tests, but this one was tough.
Yeah.
It was one that I came out of wondering if I'd even passed the thing.
So what are the kind of the questions? Is it talk about legality and ethics, or specific, interest rate questions, or everything?
All of the above.
Wow.
It covers a gamut of figuring out square footage to figuring out how to figure square footage based on irregular property lines to prorating monies, taxes, and that kind of thing, to when taxes are due, to who pays what, to everything. It's pretty intense. So that if somebody has their license, that they've gone through all of this training. And then not only that, but every 2 years we have to have 30 more hours of continuing education in various things, and that includes periodically an update of an ethics class that everybody has to take, and what they call a core thing, which is all of the changes in real estate law or real estate practices in that particular time frame. So it's an ongoing thing, but the main thing for me is being familiar with what's going on in the community and what is likely to affect buyers and sellers. So folks can. There was a quote that they said from Henry Ford, which I thought was pretty clever. He once said that when you hire people who are smarter than you are, it proves you are smarter than they are. So
I like that.
That's a good one.
And then it says the trick is to find the right person. So for the most part, the costs are pretty much the same for everybody. So why not hire a person with, and I wanted to add to this, not only find somebody who has more education and experience than you do, but also somebody who fits with your personality.
Yeah.
Because it's kind of, sometimes you can kind of be butting heads if one person is totally driven by results and the other person is kind of thinking about all the ins and outs. So it's very important, I think, to talk to your agent and really see if you fit personality-wise and are both on the same page as to what you want to do. So
what about for folks that get their license and perhaps dabble in this in a private setting? What are some of the things that you, being with John L. Scott, some of the things that they also require of you to represent that name?
Really good question. I really like working with John L. Scott because they kind of adhere to my philosophy of family, putting family first, being involved in people's lives as a friend and a mentor and a that kind of thing. And they're also really good about being up on the latest technology, and they're a recognizable brand. I mean, if you see a John L. Scott sign,
Sure.
you pretty much know that's what it is.
Yeah.
And and they require the ethics training and all of the things that are required for keeping your license up and becoming and then there's also a thing of being whether you're a realtor, in which you belong to the realtor party or the realtor organization, and that's a group that kind of tries to maintain that interest in ethics and doing the right thing and being involved with your clients.
Sure.
So,
as opposed to just being a seller.
right, exactly. Yeah, or just being in it for whatever you can get out of it.
Yeah.
Yeah, and so then the next thing is the next topic is offering buffering help to your clients, and that comes into play when you're there to kind of run interference for all of the looky-loos that come and the people who aren't really qualified to purchase the house but just want to come and take a look at it. If you're dealing with that all on your own, it can be a little bit daunting sometimes and a little bit tiring. So if you have somebody who's working with you to make sure that doesn't take up all of your time.
Serious inquiries only.
Right. Or what do I do to make my house come across more favorably, those kinds of things.
That's the other thing. We've talked about that over the years, too, is how you have kind of got your eyes glazed over and think that your house is worth way more than it is because of the sentimental values.
Right.
Whereas someone, from your perspective, comes in and appreciates what they have to say, but at the same time goes, "Listen, man."
Right. let's be real here.
I get that your kids grew up here, but this house is not worth $6 million.
Right.
It's worth $250,000.
Right.
Something like that.
Well, and then on the other side too, I counsel people a lot of times. They want to know if they should replace all the countertops or replace all the carpeting and that kind of stuff. And my idea there is, if it's clean and serviceable, you probably shouldn't replace it, because whoever's going to buy the house is probably going to want to put their own stuff in there anyway. So you've spent all this money putting new carpeting in, for example, and then whoever buys the house hates carpeting and wants solid surface floors. So they're going to rip out brand new carpeting and put in what they like. So as long as your carpeting and your countertops and appliances and those kinds of things are clean and serviceable, you're probably better off not spending the money to replace them. If they're torn or stained or that kind of thing, then obviously we need to talk about that. But for a general rule, if it's usable, just leave it the way it is, because somebody's going to come in and want to change it probably anyway.
We had 2 sliding doors going out to the backyard, the kitchen, into the master bedroom on the first floor that failed twice. The condensation between the panes.
Right.
And we agonized over that forever. Do we spend? It was like $800 for each door to get them fixed and replaced. And the real estate agent said, "Let's see what people do." And not one person reacted to it, even referenced it. So we
and
just
you
left
see
it.
that stuff. I mean, you see those things every day, so you're kind of a little more aware. They'll see that.
Yeah.
We're just about out of time. I have one more question, though. If it's your last day, our neighbors are moving this weekend.
Oh.
And so it's going to be their last day Saturday. The people are moving in presumably Sunday, I guess. I don't know.
Yeah.
But what would you say as leaving the quality? I know if you're renting, you kind of want to make sure stuff's vacuumed, so you try to get your deposit back or something. But when you're leaving, do you have to do anything? Is there anything that you need to do on your way out the door?
There is a clause in the contract that says that the seller will leave the house clean.
Oh,
yeah. So if that thing is checked, sometimes it isn't because people don't care, but if it is checked, then it is the responsibility of the seller to make sure that everything is clean and working the way it was working when the person saw the house.
okay.
So sometimes we run into cases where, like, the furnace quits, at the last day. Well, technically, according to the contract, the seller is responsible then for fixing that furnace, because they represented that it was working, and it was working when the people looked at the house.
Sure.
So sometimes you have to go in at the last
yard
minute.
work and everything too.
Right, exactly.
Keep the lawns mowed.
Exactly.
Interesting.
Exactly. Yeah, that is part of the contract, that the seller is responsible for that.
But everyone defines clean differently. Right?
Well,
we
exactly.
joke with our kids too when we say clean the house. Their definition of clean than ours.
Exactly. And I always recommend that buyers do a final walkthrough, a day or two before they actually sign the paperwork, to make sure that something hasn't broken or that kind of thing. And so then they can say, hey, we did this final walkthrough and Mr. and Mrs. Seller, it's a mess. So please clean it up before we move in.
Dawn, good to see you. What's
Good to
the phone number?
360-490-4493. I would love to talk to you and take you out and show you places, or list your house if you're thinking about selling.
Now's a good time to do it. Summer today.
Yep.
All
Summer
right.
today, that's right.
Have a good one.